Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome and thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm going to share updates on what I worked on Girls Beach Weekend. We're home and I shared the haul of what I bought at Impressing Ideas, and now I'm going to show you what I worked on. I'm not going to show you everything. We had a great long weekend, 4 days of crafting. So I'm going to show you the miscellaneous stuff, the UFOs I finished up, unfinished objects are UFOs, and the stuff that doesn't go to challenges. And then I'll do the other items in challenge videos. So I'll have a no paper left behind update later this week because I got a lot of good stuff done. And I'm not going to do like full flip throughs on the journal. This is my blue journal that I started last year. It was the very first journal that I ever made. Real journal where you stitched it. And for some reason I decided to start with 3 signatures. Okay. And it's a major junk journal, and I've had a blue journal thing sitting on the wall, like a UFO section, for a year. We looked it up on my channel, and this is comprised of, maybe you might see part of a card you sent me, not something you made me, but like a piece of the wrapping paper, or there will be something that somebody, Andrea and I might have made in a mixed media project, and I liked it, so I snagged it for in here. Cards and envelopes from family members. It was never intended to be a journal that I wrote in, or a journal that, you know, you were going to be impressed by. It is a journal that is full of blue and things that I like. So that one, I'm calling it done. I'm putting it on the shelf, and we are moving on to 2020. So I'm super excited about that, and I probably will do multiple signature journals again like that. Sorry, the timer on the Instant Pot's going off. This is probably a cereal box or a cracker box. That's the cover. So I'll probably do more like that too. Then I worked on my December daily. I have a couple of things sticking out of it where I've marked places. I don't have any photographs in here, and I'd like to have a couple. Like, we took a picture on Christmas Eve after we finished our puzzle, and I'd like to have some pictures from Maui in here. Even if I do some 12 by 12 pages, I'd just like to have a couple pictures. So I went through, I used the entire ephemera pack that Robin sent me in my Happy Mail, the Christmas one from Tim Holtz, and I used all the stamps that I got on my Christmas cards and bits of washi, and I had to go through my personal calendar, my work calendar, everything to figure it out because I didn't do it every day. So if you do December daily, make your journal and get a plan in November so that you're ready. Now, granted, it was a little boring because all those days that I was sick right at the beginning of December, I didn't have much to say. These, I didn't buy these, you guys, because those of you who watch my channel are like, what? My friend Katie picked these up for me on like a major clearance. I think they were $1 each, and she was pretty sure I needed them. So I kind of like these packs that come with 2 different widths, because when you're doing cards and you want borders or accents, you can use both. They match, and it gives it more interest. So I'm not sorry she got me those, you guys. Card bases. Card bases are boring, and they're nice to make while you're talking to your friends. So what I do is I cut a whole bunch of them and fold them and stamp on the back in advance, so that when I sit down, that's part of how I do my assembly line cards. I make my card bases in advance so that I can put them together. So I have a whole stack of what I would call a horizontal and verticals. I haven't necessarily counted as I made them. I probably could use some more. Usually I like the bases to go this way and have a big stash, but this should get me, I don't know if that'll get me through February. Depends on what paper we pick for No Paper Left Behind, right? But I did make those. Then in my shopping, I showed you that I picked up this ephemera pack that goes with this. I think of this as controlled shopping, right? I mean, I'm still, when I was on my shopping trip, I was with my friends at an unusual experience, so I'm okay for shopping for that. And I got something that went with something I already had, so I'm not decreasing the likelihood I'll use my stash. I'm increasing it. Okay, I'm kind of thinking we might want to do something with this in February. if we don't get to it in January, which we probably won't. So what I did was, let me zoom you in a little bit. And you can do this with any of the ephemera packs that just aren't quite as cool as you'd like them to be. Like Bow Bunny makes great ephemera, but they don't put any sparkle on it, right? So right when we got home, I was inspired by this. I took it out of, I didn't have the paper with me, but when we got back from shopping, got back to the house, I opened it up and I laid it out on my fancy new travel glass media mat and put stickles on it. I used stickles. I used in the middle of this flower where it's dark. Oh, I don't know if you can see it right there. There's glossy accents on that dark, dark center. And then Wink of Stella and a bit of stickles. I just added bling to them. Now, a bunch of the solely green and purple ones I didn't do because I think those are going to go to Andrea and I wasn't sure how she would want them. I don't have this whole, I need to open it up and take a look. There were 24 pieces and Andrea's two favorite colors are green and purple. So my guess is she's picked out some of the papers that these would go with, so I'm going to give them to her. But all the ones that had like tealy blue on them, I added a bunch of bling and I just dressed them up. And then all I'm going to do is put them back in the package and put them on the shelf with the paper. And then when I go to use it, it'll just be that much more fun. So this is not something that you have to do. This is not something you should run out and buy anything for. If you have, look at that one. If you have art glitter glue and glitter, or you have kids Crayola glue sticks, or anything that adds sparkle, you can use, oh, you know how I love these. And by the way, I think mine dried up, like it just got empty. Maybe I can add water. But if you have color shine, you can spritz papers like this too. You'll have to let them dry really well, and every once in a while you have to iron them. It works pretty well with Cartabella. I don't know how well it's going to work with some of these other papers, but you have plenty of products to add sparkle to things. So just because you don't have the products I have, don't worry about that. So I did that. I had a great time. I mean, I probably spent at least a half an hour doing that. I just laid them out, and then I chatted with my friends. And then another nice thing about, let me bring this in and show you. Another nice thing about the travel mat that I liked is it gave me the ability that I have at home where I can work on something in the best lighting and then pick it up, carry it away, set it down somewhere else and let it dry, and then start my next project in the place in my craft room that has the best lighting, right? I mean, a beach house, we bring our own lamps, but the whole entire room is not lit up like a runway. So that was a super great feature. And then I loved that my sidekick stuck to it. You know, it wasn't something I needed, you guys, but I'm really glad I picked it up. I think it was, what was it, maybe 35 or 40. I probably got my money's worth out of it on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because there were a lot of crafting hours in those days, let me tell you. You know that one of my goals is to make something blue. So I sat down and I made this crazy birthday card, and I used glitter paper that Noni had given me something, so it was like a, hey, do you want to use this? And I punched butterflies out of it, and then some of that paper from Island Papery, and a happy birthday that I cut out of a paper that I got for free from friends that's self-sticking. I like it, but I don't know. It could have used a little more contrast here. And then I put blue jewels that I had with me on. That's one thing about crafting at the beach is you use what you have. And I will tell you, when I packed my tackle box and I asked you guys if I forgot anything, I forgot foam mount. There were a couple times when I was making flowers. This one turned out okay, but I was going to make a bunch of flowers, and I like to use foam mount in those, and Andrea was doing something, and I went to get her some and went, oops, we don't have any. That was the one thing. So if you're going to pack a tackle box, put in your foam mount squares or your roll of foam mount or whatever you use. Again, you don't have to have it, but it's a great item to have. So I like this one. These butterflies are, I think all three of these are in the tonic dies that I picked up 8 butterfly dies at Tuesday morning for $4.99. Killer deal. That was the first time I'd used them. Then these are sympathy cards, which are super hard. And this is shimmer paper that I hadn't used. And when we went to Impressing Ideas, we saw some on the shelf and I thought, I have that. So we decided to use it. And Heartfelt Sympathy die. This one, I don't know, seems a little plain. Maybe I should have moved the butterfly down. We all agreed that a sympathy card shouldn't be loud. It shouldn't be celebratory, right? I think maybe I like this one better with the 2 layers. I think this top butterfly, Tasha sent me in Happy Mail, but since that tonic set has so many, I'm sure I could find 2 that I like to layer up. I don't know, maybe this one's okay. The shimmer doesn't show on the paper as well in the video, but again, it's not loud, it's just understated. Then this one, I was going through, I brought tons and tons of UFOs, so unfinished objects, and random, do you guys get these? Let me show you, here's one. Like, I put some things, these are bows from Daniela, some weird mixed media stuff, some bows I like, there's some chipboard and some other stuff, and I cut. I brought a ton of these kind of containers and went through them as best I could. And I found, oh, and I even went through my scrap. I brought a whole bunch of scrap things and organized, and then I went through my solid cardstock. I keep my white solid scraps in a separate thing. I keep them in one of those job ticket holders. It had gotten really thin, and I went through my cardstock scrap bin, and turns out there was tons of white in there. And one of them had this stamped on it. This was in my scraps. If I had a single flower for every time I thought of you, I could walk forever in my garden. It was stamped. I didn't see anything wrong with it, so I made a card with it. And I really liked this one. I thought this one was super fun. So I made those 4. Then these were, oops, I haven't put the bling on. I forgot the basic, I didn't have any pearls or rhinestones that weren't blue. Everything was blue because I had the neutral ones in with the Valentine's Day kit. So that, remember, is one of the downsides of making kits. You kind of get your mind focused. The funny thing is I had more neutral bling and sparklies on the counter. I just didn't think about them when I packed. So I'm going to go back and add some bling. And here's a bee that's cut out of fabric. I'll show you some more of those. And then these were in the scrap bin. And so as I was tidying up, I found them and went, oh, no. And then I cut the hello out. And that's a shimmer paper, but you can't really tell. This card has a layout challenge, but it's all right. This one I started and then stopped. Has the paint skin. See that? The other cards I made were in challenges, so you'll see those later. Then this is I think the last thing I want to show you right now. And then I'll tell you when you'll see the other stuff. Okay, these tags, this is one that's cut out from that Graphic 45 thing that was in the Impressing Ideas haul. See, I would not recommend these. I don't think they're very strong. I wouldn't know how to dress that up with a circle punch. I just don't like how they did that. But I do like the fact that my friend Andrea made some of these and gave them to me. Okay, here's what Andrea was doing. And we were posting this on Instagram, but I don't know if it was showing. And maybe you already do this. I feel like we might have done this before, but Katie and Andrea didn't seem like we had. So maybe I've never tried this. So we were die cutting and we were using a Big Shot. Well, we was all Andrea. So she brought her Xyron sticker maker. She ran sheets of fabric through it. See that? It's already got the sticky on it. And then she laid them out and she die cut them. She made flowers, tags. This is the second layer, so I will put a sentiment on the smaller size oval, and then this will be my background probably. So these are sticky because she used the Xyron, and they are instant stickers made of fabric. And of course, this, I don't know why I brought this fabric. For some reason, it must have been in some random thing I grabbed. I hope I can talk and do this at the same time, you guys. And so I had this star fabric, and then Katie was making bags, and so she had scraps and doing, yeah, it's hard to do this and talk. And she had all kinds of scraps. So Andrea was just using bits of fabric that we had and making amazing things. This would be really neat to mix and match with paper even. See, like I have one that's cardstock, and then, do you see? It's got some shimmer. I mean, it's pink, but it's cute. You're going to have to like that P. Then butterflies. So if you have fabric scraps, I've talked about using them to make cards before. Use them to die cut. Do all sorts of fun things with them. And Andrea was kind enough to share these with me. So I'm going to put these in my stash and you'll see them showing up on cards. And I'll try and remember to point them out when they're on something, because in a video, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between fabric and paper. In later videos, you're going to see what happened to the navy florals paper and how much of it is left. Not much. I don't have a single whole sheet left. And the Authentique Glamour, this is my No Paper Left Behind, and this one is for Smash That Small Paper Pad challenge with Deb Hauk and her Crafty Cottage. So you'll see those, and then you'll get an update on my goals. I got a lot of stuff done. I came out of the gate slow in January because I was behind from travel and being sick, and then it's my birthday month, so there were a lot of social things, but I think I'm all caught up. So I'll talk to you again soon, and I hope that everybody's having a great week, and I hope that you can forgive me for skipping out on videos for days because it was just too much to get ready for the beach and have all those birthday dinners. So thanks again, and I hope you're doing great. Bye-bye.